All right, welcome. This week we are talking about 4 keys or just some good ideas for developing a Catholic faith-based PE curriculum. And then we're going to talk about a couple practical ideas that you can apply this week in Catholic Fit. Okay, so whether you're a parent, a teacher, a principal, I just heard from someone from Spokane, Washington, the Walla Walla area, if I'm saying that correctly, who's on a committee for their accreditation for their school. They're talking about not only academics, but Catholic identity. And the conversation always comes to this. And what does Catholic identity mean? Now, I'm going to make another video and kind of write something on that idea in and of itself. But today, we're just going to focus on if you're charged with developing your PE curriculum. Maybe you're a PE teacher who just came into a Catholic school and now you're going to have to wrap your head around your Catholic faith as it applies to your PE programs. If you've been just assigned or charged with teaching PE and you're trying to figure that out, or maybe you've just taught PE for a while and you're thinking, I want to kind of have a faith and fitness component to how I'm teaching physical education, you come to the right place. This isn't 4 magical keys. This isn't the end all. These are just a few ideas that I hope can get your wheels turning and that we can begin a better conversation about this and what's going on in our schools, in particular our Catholic schools. If you're a homeschooling parent, I think this will help you as well, just to facilitate some conversation with your students, with your children. All right. This is also, you can always visit CatholicFit.com. I have 2 courses up now. The free course is Catholic Fit Coach. I cover a lot of these ideas and more. That's a free course you can take. And then there's also the homeschooling course. And I'm developing the grade school course as well. If you don't know, I've developed the Catholic Fit PE curriculum for grade schools, and that you can find out more information at CatholicFit.com. But let's get into these keys. First, I listen a lot on education. I'm also a university professor. I'm the director of exercise science at Webster University. So I am teaching college students. I'm teaching exercise science. I'm a personal trainer. I'm working with people, teaching them fitness, just the general public of all ages. So I have an opportunity to sit in classrooms with college students, with everyone from teenagers to my oldest client is 87 now, a lot of 75, 85-year-old clients. And I just talk about this fitness stuff with everyone. But when it comes to faith, the idea of faith and fitness sounds great, but how do we really integrate these ideas together and what can you do? So first off, I heard this recently and it was a good discussion, but you think about what is school for overall? No matter what subject you teach or if you teach another school, I'd like to think we ask, what is the purpose of school? And I'll blow this up a little bit for you, but what is the purpose of school? Number one, I'd like to think it is to answer the question, who am I and what am I doing here? Now, this is pretty universal. I think this could be answered and asked at any school, but in particular, our Catholic Christian schools, we have answers to this. We've been discussing this for 2,000 years. And depending on the goal of your school, if we are going to improve Catholic identity, if we're going to hope that our children are coming into our Catholic schools, experiencing the sacraments of initiation, and then leaving our schools, whether in 8th grade or 12th grade, and going out into the world as Catholics, what are we doing to ensure that we're going to develop a strong Catholic identity within them, that they can go and live as Catholics in the world? We've done a poor job of this. I always say the Catholic Church has totally dropped the ball when it comes to physical health, and that's why we're talking about these things today. But overall, who am I and what am I doing here? This is a great question for any student in any institution, but I believe that we really need to discuss these answers, and we have a lot of answers within our faith. Number 2, second answer is, let me go back. Who am I and what am I doing here? We always talk about faith and fitness. Now, that's a very faith-filled and kind of transcendent question, right? But from a fitness standpoint, why am I fit and why should I be fit? What does fitness mean? And one of the goals, and one of the keys we'll talk about is offering tangible, practical definitions that our students can use. All right. So we have purpose behind our fitness and purpose behind our physical health. All right. We'll talk more about that. The second question is to facilitate the development of creative, critical thinking problem solvers. Right. That we're not just teaching math, we're teaching kids to solve problems. We should be talking about this at every age, that by college students in particular, because they're studying to become physical therapists and occupational therapists and gym owners and personal trainers. And I talk to them about that they need to be resourceful human beings, that they need to go out and solve problems. And if they solve a problem for another person, right, they will get paid, right? They can make money, or they can help that person just because they're solving a problem just out of the charity of their heart. All right. And there is no difference. So if you look at this picture here, I'll blow it up. I love this picture. This is me. I was doing an in-service workshop for some preschool teachers, and some of the kids were there. And I was teaching this, kind of both of them, but the young boy in particular, how to do a deadlift, how to pick up that kettlebell. That's a 25-pound kettlebell. And I didn't say, stand like this, bend over, grab the kettlebell, and over teach them and over cue him. I just put the kettlebell in front of him and let him figure it out. Because inside of him, he's been blessed with these gifts of human movement and intuition about how to move. And the idea is that I want him to solve that problem. Here's a big, heavy thing sitting on the floor. How are you going to pick it up? Right? So I love to do get-up exercises. Have your students lay down on their back and then stand back up. And then lay down on their stomach and then stand back up. And then have them grab their right knee with their right hand. Now get down on your back and stand back up. They're going to have to get a little more creative when they hold on to their right knee the entire time, get down on their back. I've done this with a 3rd grade class and a 2nd grade class for the 5 or 10 minutes of their warm-up. Put your right hand on your left knee. Put your left hand on your right elbow. Now get down on the floor and then get back up. They're going to have to be creative. They're going to explore their body. They're going to get up, and they're going to use all kinds of different techniques to stand up. They're going to go through all kinds of movement patterns and mobility patterns and things like that. So that's a wonderful way to become a creative problem solver, although we're talking about in any context. If I'm not feeling good today, how do you solve that problem? If I get a headache, how do I solve that problem? Do I grab an ibuprofen or do I drink water? Right, so that's something we talk about in the Catholic Fit program, right? There's always a time and a place for man-made intervention when it comes to medical technology, right? As far as medicines and vaccines and surgeries, right? But there's also, I believe we are called as Catholics and Christians to go the most natural route at first. God blessed us with just the basic circadian rhythm, get good sleep, to get, drink enough water, to eat God-made food, right? So we can incorporate all of these health and fitness principles and then talk to them through the lens of our Catholic faith. And that's the key. It's all about reframing a lot of the things that we know about PE and fitness and reframing them through the lens of our faith. All right. And that's what we'll talk about today. All right. What else? So integration versus isolation. I Googled it, just a quick image of a Catholic grade school weekly schedule, class schedule. And this one happened to pop up. And it was interesting. So you see 8:30 science, 9:15 study hall, 10:05 religion, 10:55 English. This is isolation. This is compartmentalization, right? And this is what we're looking at when it comes to integrating our faith and our Catholic identity into everything that we do. We're going to take religion class and we're going to put it into this hour-long class on Tuesday morning. All right? We're going to take our entire faith and put it at 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday morning. Make sure you go to church and then just kind of go out into the world and do your thing, right? And P is the same. So one of the key themes over these 4 keys I'll get into, not quite there yet, but again, these are just ideas I want you to hopefully get your wheels turning with, is the difference between integration versus isolation. These are all faith and fitness concepts. The faith standpoint is that we've compartmentalized, or we've put religion class into an hour-long class. Let's go study church history. But it doesn't always show throughout the entire culture of the grade school or the school. All right, and we know this. We can sense this. Fitness is the same way. The more we can integrate into our entire school culture, the more that the PE teachers can work with the homeschool teachers, the more we can be aware of movement during recess and PE class, the better. Okay, and on the fitness side of things, it's an important concept to understand as well. If you do a bicep curl, that's an isolation movement. I can sit here and do a bicep curl like this, and I'm going to work my bicep. If I do a pull-up, now I'm grabbing the bar, and not only am I going to use my biceps, but I'm going to use the back of my shoulders. I'm going to use my lat muscles, my back muscles, my core muscles. It's more of an integrated movement. I can do a calf raise for my calf muscle, but if I do a squat, I'm going to use my lower back, my posture muscles, my core, my hip muscles, quad muscles, hamstrings, calves. I'm going to integrate more. And I think that's a key component into everything that we do, is that the more we can build a culture of health and fitness within your school, the better. Okay? The more we can integrate versus isolate, because we've isolated religion too much and we've isolated PE too much, right? You're going to sit in a chair, look straight ahead and listen to the teachers for 7 hours of the day. And then during 1 hour, you're going to be dropped off in the gym and just run them, make them sweat so they can focus on math in an hour, versus integrating a movement lifestyle and mobility exercises into all that we're doing throughout the day. Because if we want better GPAs, better focus, less ADHD, just more mobility, happier kids, more fulfilled, well-behaved children and students, we got to get them moving. We have to get them moving more than they are today. We have to integrate these things in all that they are. And our Catholic identity is no different. All right. Number one, so here's our 4 keys. Number one, teach the golden rule of fitness. We all know the golden rule. And someone said to me not too long ago, I taught my kids that, treat others as you want to be treated. That is really not the golden rule. The golden rule is not treating other people nicely. All right. The golden rule is really in context with the Bible and Scripture, and really it becomes the 2 greatest commandments, right? Jesus said the greatest commandment is love your God. All right. First things first. Keep your priorities straight. Love your God. Love him with everything that you have, your mind, body, and soul. All right. And we throw body in there in the Catholic Fit program. And when we're thinking about a faith-based fitness program or faith-based PE curriculum, that we do use our bodies. All right. We're very active faith, right? We genuflect, we bow, we sign the cross. We do a lot of things as far as what our faith is from an active standpoint, a physical standpoint, that we can honor God with our gifts. We can worship him and thank him for our divine physical gifts by being active, okay? But first things first, we love God. That's our priority. That's our number one. Number 2 is we love ourselves. And this is the key, right? We cannot go to love our neighbors until we love ourselves first. Do we have the capacity to love our neighbors more than ourselves? That becomes self-sabotage. That becomes taking care of everyone else first. I'm going to help you lose weight because I'm a personal trainer, but I'm not going to take care of myself, right? So the golden rule of fitness keeps our priorities in order. We love God, we love ourselves, and with that love, we can then share with others. And the Catholic Fit program, we call that being fit to serve. So not only do we keep our priorities straight, number 2, we practice self-care habits. We drink more water, we get good sleep. We don't stay up all night on screens and tablets, right? Whether you're talking to your parents about sleep, you can do a 5-minute talk at the beginning of your PE program about sleep, because if you're not getting good sleep, you cannot walk into PE class or math class and perform well in either, right? And it's not really about performing well or getting A's, but just learning something and moving and being healthy, okay? So that's number 2 as far as taking care of what self-love mean, all right? Or what that means, all right? That we love ourselves first and foremost after God. And then we can love our neighbors. And that also, not only do we get fit to serve, but service as a means to our fitness gives our fitness purpose. We're not just getting fit for vanity reasons. We're not just getting fit because we want to play soccer, which is all fine. We get fit so we can take care of other people in our life. We get fit so we're not a burden on other people. We get fit because there's so many other people who cannot take care of themselves, that were born with some serious disabilities, who are not able-bodied. But if you are able-bodied and you're educated and you have access to health education and health literacy and medicine and good food, it is our duty to take care of ourselves so then we can then take care of those and our neighbors who are in need. All right, so the golden rule of fitness is that priority. That's the key. So again, I talk about this in all my programs. So you can look at the Catholic Fit program, the Catholic Fit Coach program, and understand this is key to really developing an idea for why we are teaching these things. So again, teach the golden rule of fitness to teach love for God first, then self, then others. The next key, open your Bibles and your catechism. All right. If anything, to help center your students in offering guidance for life. One of the most fun guest teaching ideas that I would have is when I bring my rosary in, and I would talk to them, as the picture shows, about what a GPS is. So all my 3rd graders and 6th graders I talk to, and all of my grade school, they all know what a GPS is. They know what Google Maps is. They know what GPS is in the car. All right. It tells them 2 things: where they are and where they're going. And then I'd pull out my rosary and say, here's my GPS. We need to talk to our students about being centered on specific values, right? And that comes down to our Catholic identity a lot, and I'll talk again about that in another video. But, what does it mean to be Catholic, and what does it mean to be centered in my Catholic faith, right? But not only that, I had some parents or some teachers come back to me, and some are a little nervous about opening up their Bibles. They don't know where to start, or opening up their catechism. Well, open up the golden rule. Talk about the golden rule, all right? that when Jesus says, love your neighbors as yourself, well, let's talk about self-love. How can we take care of ourselves today? What things can we do for ourselves? Are you thirsty? Go get some water. Go drink a cup of water. You just hydrated yourself. You just hydrated your brain. You just hydrated your heart, your lungs. And that's one of the foundational principles of health, right? So open up the Catechism. Talk about the need for water and why holy water is holy water. Open up to 483, the unity principle, right? That man is made up of body and soul, right? Fitness and faith. Physical health, body, temporal, and spiritual health, soul, right? Spirit. That's so key. The unity principle is what this is all about. I mean, what you're asking when you think about how to build a faith-based fitness curriculum, PE curriculum, is the unity principle. That's laid out beautifully in the Catechism. Read your Catechism. You don't have to catechize. You don't have to be an expert, but open the darn book and show them this exists. It's amazing. If you're ever unsure of what the Catholic Church believes, open this up and read. And you can start with some pretty simple principles, just about water, about the unity principle. These things are included in the Catholic Fit program as well, all right? But use scripture, use any sort of idea. Run the race with purpose. Your fitness has purpose. Run the race as if to win. Don't just do the 100-meter dash today as if you're just going to run it, right? We're reminded that we are run as if to win. Right? So there's lots of things we can talk about as far as what's in the Bible, what's in the Catechism. All right? Pull your quotes from there. Don't just pull random quotes from Muhammad Ali and Will Smith. They're great. They have some great quotes. But look up the saints. Look up Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. Frassati. All right? A wonderful, he's blessed. He's not a saint yet. But I did a 9-day novena. And we did a fitness challenge along with that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. He was an active guy. He loved sports. He loved being active, rock climbing, mountain climbing, but he also made time for service of the poor. All right. He was faith and fitness. He was Catholic fit, right? He was this idea that we can be fit, play sports, and there's a time and a place for that. But there's also a time and a place for serving the poor. All right. And we can find that balance. All right. Next, what we got? Teach and build health first. Teach and build health first as the rock or foundation of fitness and performance. What does this mean? Peter, upon this rock, I will build my church. Upon this rock of health, I will build my fitness. How many of you have gone out for a run before, but then your ankle starts bothering you, so you stop running? Or you start walking every day, you end up with a stress fracture, and you stop walking. It's because you didn't build up your foundation of health first. If you want to get in shape, play soccer, lose 30 pounds, lower your blood pressure, go play in a charity kickball tournament, go run a 5K for pro-life, do your rosary run, whatever within the church or anything else. Right? I play recreational basketball. I play pickup basketball twice a week. I need to mine my foundation of health first, right? And so this is how we start mixing faith and fitness. Your foundational health is your sleep. You absolutely need sleep, okay? And so not only do we say you need sleep, but we talk about honoring your circadian rhythm that God built within us, okay? That you sleep when it's dark and you're awake when it's light out, all right? We talk about the Sabbath and resting on Sundays and what does the Sabbath mean. See, you can talk about sleep for 5 minutes, but you can throw in lessons about through the Catechism of what the Sabbath is, what Sunday means, what it's useful for, what going to church is for, and then get into sleep and why that helps you with your focus, and that helps you with recovering your muscles, that helps you recovering from your exercise today, and go forward from that, all right? That's an excellent way. Drinking water is the picture I have here. Drinking water. What is holy water used for? 5 minutes to talk about what is holy water used for. Do we use it for baptism? Do we use it when we walk into church and bless ourselves? Right? Do we use it at confirmation? When during the liturgical year are we sprinkling or being sprinkled with holy water? And then turn that around to, if you get a headache, don't reach for that ibuprofen right away. Drink 2 cups of water. If you're hungry, drink 2 cups of water. Then see if you're hungry 15 minutes later. All right? It is so important to remain hydrated. I'm drinking about water. I need some water. Okay? So again, it's just reframing some of these ideas, but it's teaching health within our PE class, even if it's for 5 minutes. Okay? But we teach health first. Then we can get into fitness. Okay, eating God-made food. Don't just eat healthy food, natural food. Eat God-made food. What's the difference between God-made food and man-made food? What's the difference between a potato and a French fry? All right. So lots of ideas for how we can integrate these ideas and integrate our faith and our belief in God, the Catechism, the Bible, into all of these universal health and fitness principles can be integrated right into our faith principles and values and beliefs as well. All right. Last one. Teach movement literacy. I believe this is the last one. All right. Teach movement. What is movement literacy? We have reading literacy, math literacy, right? All these types of tests, right? Take a child who can be brilliant, who never learned to read, put them in a library, pull them out a year later, they should be really smart, right? No, because they couldn't read any of the books. We need to teach literacy first and then to get into learning, all right? Math literacy, basic math skills. Fitness and PE is no different. If you're going to play basketball, that's fine. But we've kind of had this, I hate to say passive aggressive, but this passive view of saying, well, let's just play basketball. And in doing so, we'll kind of cover cardiorespiratory endurance and muscle endurance and some different agility, balance skills. But we'll just play basketball, right? But then it becomes a game. Your athletes are going to dominate the game. The non-athletes are not. And we're not slowing down and teaching movement literacy. Movement literacy, you can see some of these pictures on here as being movement patterns that we teach. The top locomotive patterns, skipping, side shuffle, running, squatting patterns, planking exercises, lunging like a genuflect, pushing, combination moves like get-ups. So we teach specific movement literacy patterns, okay? Now you can also, just to say that we move well, if you're fourth grader is not skipping well, they're still galloping, they're behind in their movement literacy. If your third or fourth graders cannot do a grapevine or karaoke type pattern, they're behind in their movement literacy. That's our responsibility. If that person isn't coordinated, if that person can't do some of these things, they're lacking this athleticism and this movement literacy, they're going to be 25 years old wanting to lose weight, go to the gym, and they're going to get hurt. They're not going to be able to move well, all right? And we have to take it upon ourselves to deliver better fitness programming that's not all game-based and sports-based, so our students can develop kind of unique definitions of fitness for themselves, whether they're a dancer, a soccer player, or just need to, maybe they're a computer programmer and a pianist, and they just need to understand the importance of movement so they can continue being a wonderful pianist with good posture sitting on their bench, right? But that's a different fitness identity than what is the soccer player or me as a basketball player and a personal trainer, right? So we need to teach movement literacy first, and then we can teach that as restoring God's physical gifts. That 3-year-old, that 4-year-old that you saw on that last slide when I was teaching how to pick up the kettlebell, I didn't have to overcoach them and train them and give them a strength coach or a personal trainer to teach them how to do that. He knew how to do that. All right? These things are built inside of us, but we have to hone them and get them moving early on in life. If they're sitting in recliners playing video games and they're sitting on iPads from the time they're 18 months old, which most of our children are, they're going to start losing these skills right away. They're going to start losing their God-given gifts of mobility and stability, of how well they breathe. Do they chest breathe? Do they breathe into their stomach? Are you doing breathing exercises with your students? Incorporate the Jesus prayer with box breathing. Look into that. All right, I have a video on that. Look up the Jesus prayer and box breathing. It's part of a novena, but I explain the video there. All right. So, but teach these things as restoring God's gifts to us. All right, just to continually talk to them not only about our Catholic faith, but our faith and our belief in God, and that He blessed us with these amazing bodies, and it's our duty to stay in shape, to care for ourselves so we can care for others. All right? To truly embrace taking care of the temple of the Holy Spirit. All right? All right. So now we get into a couple challenges to wrap up. To get into a couple challenges or get into a couple ideas, I'll blow this up a little bit. Now, I know the challenges are, boy, these are small, if you can see this on your screen. The challenges are your students need to move and get the wiggles out, and I get that, right? That's number one challenge, right? That if you are a teacher, these are all, these sound like good ideas. You're going to talk about water, talk about sleep, but at the end of the day, I shouldn't use that phrase as much. A third grade homeroom teacher is going to walk in and say, just run them, just make them sweat, get the wiggles out of them, just so I can get them focusing on math again, all right? So there is an element of that. We need to move. And if you're charged with getting your kids moving, you got to get them moving. All right. We'll talk about that in a second as far as how we can kind of work around that. But they got to be moving the majority of the time you are with them. Okay. Number two, limited time. I understand you're maybe teaching PE once or twice a week. If you're teaching it twice a week, divide into a fitness-based day and a game-based day or a sports-based day. All right. Your athletes will complain. Your hyper-competitive kids that like to play soccer every time, they'll complain a little bit, but teach them the importance of homework. Teach them the importance of preparation. Teach them the importance of practice. Embrace the process. We can't just play games all the time. Why we take math and reading and literature and history really seriously, and we teach that stuff. But PE becomes just games. Just going to play games. All right. No wonder we have an obesity epidemic. No wonder we're struggling with the physical literacy and physical health of our country. Right. 95% of people who have been hospitalized for COVID have some serious physical literacy issues. They have some serious comorbidities going on. And we're ignoring that as a country. Our Catholic Church can't ignore these things anymore. All right. I mean, our country can't, but we're talking about our faith here. Right. So for some reason, we gamify PE, but then we just get serious when it comes to math and our faith, frankly. All right. We teach what Crayola Catholicism, they call it. I believe we can get a little deeper into our faith, into our purpose, and into our fitness early on. And we don't need to teach anatomy. You don't need to teach femurs and patellas and what is this bone called and how many ribs are there. If you're getting in the anatomy and science class in 7th, 8th grade in high school, that's one thing. But don't worry about teaching bone names to 4th graders, right? I mean, listen, wherever my phone is, I don't need to know the insides of my phone and how the engineering works. I just need to know how to charge it and use it and operate it. That's how our bodies are. We need to know how to general principles of sleep, eating healthy food, drinking good water, how to breathe appropriately, right? How to unplug from screens and relax, get into some sort of prayer state or just state of silence. Pretty simple as far as the recovery techniques and our self-love goes. And then general ideas for mobility and stability. What does ankle mobility look like? What does a deep squat look like? What does a plank look like? What does good posture look like? Right? Those are the keys that we can be teaching our students. All right. All right. Have a dry erase board with a warm-up they're used to reading and doing. So start with a dry erase board. When they walk in, after you've taught them some agility exercises or whatever warm-up exercise you do, get them moving right away. Don't walk them into class. Sports practices are the same way. When they walk into class, they should just move, right? Get them moving. Then if you have assigned seats, whatever that is, that's fine. And if they go at different paces, some of the boys are going to run, some of the kids are going to race, some of the competitive ones, but have a dry erase board, all right? Down and back grapevine, down and back skipping, down and back on your toes, down and back on your heels, 5 push-ups, then find your spot, right? Because they just sat in a chair for an hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours. You got to get them moving, get their heart rate up, and then do some mobility. And when they squat, I knew I was bragging to somebody else, but I'm on a box right now. If I could be in like in a deep squat position here. You can watch the videos and get into this, but some of the videos is to do a deep squat. Don't have them sit on the butts. Don't have them sit on the ground. Have them in a deep squat position. All right, expressing the full mobility and range of motion of their ankle joint, their hip joints, their knee joints, right? That's what they were blessed with, right? 6th grade and beyond, the boys hitting puberty, that's going to change a little bit. You're going to lose some of that, but all the more important, all right? If you have a pull-up bar, all your kids should be hanging for 10 to 30 seconds per class. Do whatever game with them. Bobby, go over and hang, 30 seconds. Susie, go over and hang. That's one of the best ways to mobilize their shoulders, mobilize their spine, unglue them from their desk chair. Have them go do that, right? Tell them 30 seconds over there, 2 Hail Marys. There you go. Faith and fitness, a wonderful fitness exercise, orthopedic durability, orthopedic resiliency, restoring God's gifts of mobility and healthy spines, and saying a prayer. Say a prayer for prayer. Say a whatever, okay? Getting fired up, digging this. All right, work on the entire culture of your school. Don't compartmentalize it. Don't say, one PE class, we're going to talk about PE. Talk to your homeroom teachers. Talk to your, and that's the next one too, the blue box here. I know these are also, I don't have it up. So upper left, work on the entire culture of your school. What can you do as a school? Communicate with the homeroom teacher for handouts, integration with science class and health. Who is charged with teaching health? Find that out, right? Is it your PE teacher? Or is it your science teacher? They're going to teach a more scientific view of health. You can teach a more movement-based, practical view of health. Mix the two together. When is the homeroom teacher or the science teacher talking about health? What are they talking about? And how can you incorporate that directly into PE class? We have to work together as a team. Quit with all these separate classes. That isn't life, right? We're just doing life, and I got to manage my checkbook, or I got to manage my apps on my phone, and I got to communicate with others, and I got to know something about history and money and finances and fitness and life all at the same time, right? I got to be a faithful person 24/7. So the more we can integrate versus isolate, the better. If you have a handout or a journal, work with the homeroom teacher and say, hey, let's do kind of some sort of challenge where they're going for walks every day, or and have them journal, and that might be something your homeroom teacher can help you manage. If you have a handout, a worksheet, especially with the Catholic Fit program, you can go home, you could give that to the homeroom teacher to put in their home folder. All right, sorry, I'm getting a little loud. Novena Faith and Fitness Challenges. I love these. I just did a 9-day Faith and Fitness Challenge to launch my program, right? So you can do a Faith and Fitness challenge. Use a journal. That's another one. Keep a journal. So I have journals. You can download a journal. You can download the Forsati Fitness Challenge at CatholicFit.com. Click on Challenge or Forsati Challenge, and you can go there and use that journal. Every day, they're going to journal their faith, some sort of prayer that they said. They're going to journal some sort of movement practice, daily movement, some sort of fitness domain that they improve, like strength, power, agility, respiratory, cardio, endurance, and some sort of service task. They took out the trash for mom. All right, they help the teacher, wipe off and clean the chalkboard, the dry erase board. All right, so that's one way to keep a journal, and then you can incorporate prayers into that and service into that. That's why we stay in shape, so we can take care of our neighbors. I already talked a little bit about fitness days versus game days, and then autonomy days is another one to where come in and just say, make up your own workout. You can make up your own workout, or I like to put out stuff like cones and agility ladders and have them set up their own fitness games. All right. So, again, this is just a discussion. I went on for a while here. I get excited about this, you can see, because this is the exact same discussion I have with my clients. 7 years ago, I sat in a health coaching program, weight loss coaching program. I was working with these people, and I just realized, what? I'm going to have to put this message through the context of my faith, because I don't know how to teach this anymore. I can talk to you about almonds all day long. I can give you a secular version, or God forbid, a self-help, new age spirituality version of how to get fit. But we got to talk about a faith-based curriculum and program for how we can incorporate our faith within our fitness, and our fitness within our faith. We have to be much more active as a Catholic faith, as a Catholic church. We have a lot of work to do out there. I think this is a fun way to share our faith. It's a fun way to integrate our faith, to internalize our faith and our fitness. And I think it can be very powerful for developing very powerful Catholic and fitness identities that will serve our students and serve our children for a lifetime. All right. God bless you. Thank you for being teachers, the parents working with your students. Please comment below. Email me at dave@daveready.com, or just visit catholicfit.com and contact me through there. And I hope this discussion continues. All right. I'm going to hit the end. And again, comment, and God bless.